Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear students, today we're gonna do to build the UI user interface in j2me or Java ME. Now what we have in this is we have a one class that is a display class which interacts with which have all functionalities to interact with a device. Say for example your monitor. Another display class, we have a displayable class, and this displayable class is abstract, so that means we can't create an instance of this displayable class, but we can create an instance of display class, but we can't use the new here. We have given a method in the display class what is called as, we have to call it like display dot get display, and send it this the current midlet. So I'm sending current midlet to the get display method, and this get display method actually has all the things which creates the object of the display class. So I do not have to create the display class object with a new. And here if you could see, I'm calling the get display method with the display the class name itself. So class name dot method name. So that means this method is a static method, right? And every midlet has a one, should have one instance of display, because you can if you wanna show something, you can show one thing at a time. We will discuss that later on. And our displayable class, we have two things. Either we have the screen class or we have the canvas class. Now canvas, is to design the low level UI, and screen is to design high level UI. Getting me? So when it's a screen class, it has many things in it. The first thing what we have is we can have the list. We can have many more things. We have here the text boxes, we have the alert, we have form. These all things are here. So we have a list, we have a text box for example, and we may have another thing that is our form, and we have also the alert, and we also have a ticker attached to the screen class, right? And the form, this list, this text box, this alert and form, this is a one particular entity which will take up your whole display of your mobile device. So you can either display form or text box or list, not simultaneously. You can switch from form to text box or text box to list, but you can show two things together. But now if you want to show like text boxes, many text boxes, then you have to use the form class, and under it we have an abstract method called item, and this item consists of many things like this. For example, this item class we have in the item class a text field. Text field is as good as text box, but it is we can put many text fields on the form. So container for the text field is form, okay, and for the text box or form or alert or list, it is the display itself. And we can have a gauge, okay, we can have a spacer, we can have a custom item, we can have image item, We'll discuss all of them. We may have string item, okay, or we may have the date field, okay. We may have choice group. And the container is the form. And basically we have an item class, which is again an abstract class derived from the form class, and it has all these things in it. So actually these all are derived from the item class, and item derived from the form class, and the form itself is a screen. So I will say, for example, gauge is a item, item is a form, form is a screen, right? Okay. We have many more things like custom item, which will help us to build the item later on. We could have, let me go on this side now, we could have a spacer, right? So I think these are all what we have: spacer, a custom item. On this side I said, then we said gauge, text field. We have the custom item already written here, okay. Image item, we got string item, we got date field, we got choice group. Choice group is same like we have here the list. It is as good as list, the choice group, okay. But only difference is that choice group can be put on a form, and the list is a standalone thing. It's independent. It doesn't have a container. It's itself a container, right? Like you have the contact list in your phone, but we want to put some list like choice group on the form tomorrow. Then we can gonna use choice group. One thing we need to understand, that this item class is has many similarities to the command, what we have written as command, the command class. You got to create the instance of a command class. Similarly, you got to create the instance of the item class. We have seen that if you created the command class, then you have to add it to the screen object, like form. So a command is to be added to the form, like we have added some 2 commands here, right, like back or next or whatever. And similarly the item class got to be added to the form, okay, because their container is form, so they gonna be added to the form. But command can be added to the text box or list or form. I mean to say screen. Your command can be added to the screen, but your item derivative classes, these can be added to the form. Yes, but the thing is that they need to be created first, and then second step, they need to be added to the form, okay. And third similarity is, because first is to create, we have to first create the instance, and second thing is what? Second thing is to add to the form or some screen class. The third thing is a listener. You have to set up a listener, like we have a command listener in case of command, and interface which need to be implemented. Similarly, we have to implement a interface for the item class which need to be implemented. That is your item state listener. So for item, we have a item state listener. Item state listener. For example, for command, we had a command listener which need to listen, who can listen the particular command, that what you're gonna do on this particular command. For example, this is a back command, what you're gonna do on this back command, or this is a call command, what you're gonna do on a call command. You have to listen this command later on. So for that, we have to, for command, we implemented, as we saw the nice program on that, and that implemented the command listener. And here for item class, we got to implement the item state listener. which will listen to the particular item derivative class. Getting me? One more thing is that every this derived class of the item class, that is the text field, gauge, whatever, they have some sort of status, and user interacts with these fields, these things, with the I'm going to say with your application. The user interacts with the application by changing the status of the instances of these derived classes of item class. I'm going to say the status of the text field. You have status text field, and you change the status of text field, and that's how you interact with the application. But only thing is, here we got a string item, right? And one more guy, who is that? Image item. Yeah, image item and string item. That you have added string item on your form, or image item on your form, some sort of image on a form. These are static. Okay, you can't change the status of them. They are static. Once they added, you can't change them. This is one more difference. Okay, so we are talking a lot more things now. That we said these item classes are same as your command, what we have done. But so what we have to first create a command, then add that command, and then set a listener. And the fourth thing was to implement a method, which is a contract of this what is this interface, listener interface. And that was, if you remember from your previous program of the command, that we have there the command action, right? So we had in the listener, and then we got to implement in our midlet action command method, which takes the command C and displayable D. Is it? Are you getting me? Similarly, to listen to these guys, text field or gauge or something, because we have a interface to implement item state listener, and for that we got a method, what is called as item state changed. This item state changed method got to be implemented by these subclass of item class, right? Getting me? So you got to define implement this method, so that because in this item state changed, you will chuck that state change of what I said, that our application interacts with these fields by chucking their status. What is the state of that text field? What is for example, we got a choice group. A choice group is something wherefrom you can choose. It can have a variety of buttons or something like that, as you've seen in your list. Okay. Now, what you have selected, what choices you have selected, right? Accordingly, we have to do. For example, we have 3 choices in the choice group. We have choice of taking a dessert or taking a chicken. This may be your restaurant software, and something else, like we have a mutton. Now, what are you gonna use? What are you gonna choose? Maybe I choose the desserts are too hot these days. And what happens is, when you select this choice, we have to actually do something. When you select this, the user selects one choice or multiple choices or something like that. And the item state changed method has a responsibility to deal with these things. That is item state change. This is telling us everything. The name itself tells everything. That is the item, because these are all items. Text field, gauge, spacers, these are all items. Is it or not? These are all items. And when they change this state, we're gonna do that in this method, in item state changed method. Okay. And I said that item state changed method is as good as your action command method. In case of your commands, we have already done the action command method in the command. The same way we're gonna deal with the item state changed method. So what we are basically saying is that we have the items. That items could be many things, like our choice group, like for example, we have a choice group where we have ready buttons. Say for example, we can do other things also. not if we do have radio buttons, we'll see that later on. And I'm saying just this is some selection thing, and you have radio buttons and on, and based on that I have on a form a text box, for example. If I select here, for example, desert, then my text box should change. What will happen is when a user interacts, because there is two things, our user can interact with your item, or the application can interact with the application can interact with your item. Okay, for this is my text field, a text box on a form. This is my form. Now listen what I'm saying, that if I am changing, for example, I'm selecting this, so that I'm changing the status of this this item, that is your choice group, and on that basis I want to write something in this text field. As I have chosen here, if I choose desert, I want to select here that you have chosen desert, you have chosen desert, like that. Now if you could see, selecting this is the status change of the choice group, writing something in a text field is the status change of text field. So whenever you change the status, okay, your application management software, AMS, or sometimes we call it device manager software, automatically fires a method that's called item state changed, right? This method got to be fired automatically, and we will write a code for this. What we're gonna do on the base of desert, for example, I want to write in the text field some string. That code I have to write here, right? But the how item state changed, is it we who have to call it? No, we don't have to call it. Likewise, we did in a command. If you have a command on a form and you just click the command on the form, the command action was fired automatically. The command action was automatically fired and processed by the AMS. Similarly, but here is a little difference. Here we have a little difference here, because items, you change that. If you change status of, like, what is the status change of a choice group? To select it. What is the status change of a text field? To write it something. But who is changing that status is important to AMS to fire. But if it is user who is changing the status, then AMS will fire the item state change. But if it is application, the AMS will not fire. So for application, AMS will not fire your item state changed. So as you could see here, if on the selection of the desert, for example, on the selection of this, for example, I selected the desert, and that is the status change of this item, and I am writing something in it, that is also the status change of text field. But this text field is not, its state is not changed by the user, rather by the application, right? Because on the selection of this, you have written a code that you just write something here, that means your application is changing the status change. So item state will be fired for the change in the choice group, but not in the text field, because this is changed by the application. So if it is changed by application, it will not be, it will not fire the item state change. So this is very important to understand. And here I can say that, like, we have the triggers in the database, the triggers, but they are fired, automatically when some event occurs. But in triggers we have no, nothing like when the event occurs, the triggers are fired. It doesn't have the categorization. And here we do have categorization. We are saying that if it is user who have changed the status, then fire the item state. But if it is application, don't fire the item state change. Got it? One more thing we need to understand here is that I said that item state change, if the item state of the item is changed, so item state change, it will be fired if it is done by the user and not by the application. But one more thing is that if we get focus from one item state to the another item, if you just leave the focus, I mean, I was on my focus one was on this choice group. Now I have gone to the text field, or for example, there's a text field on a form. Maybe it is like this. It's a prevalent. It's more, visual here. This is text field, and this is, say for example, a choice group under which I have a checkboxes or radio buttons or whatever. Right now my focus is here. If I am leaving my focus from this to this, at that time also the item state change will be, uh, fired or processed. It's not possible before item state change to go into this. So first, if you have lost the focus from here to here, okay, even you start clicking on this or start clicking on this, and I'm saying that my focus was here, and I've changed the focus. In the meantime, before my focus will be set to this, so that I can do something with this choice group on these check boxes, I have to process the item state changed method. So we've done all the basics of this item state changed and item class, and now it's time to implement it in a program, the item class derivatives. That is all what we have done on the top. That is all of these guys. I'm going to say, like, we have the text field, gauge, spacer, custom item, image item, and all these. We will take them one on one, and just we have to master them. So let's have a quick recapitulation here. As we saw that we got a display class, then we have displayable class, and we have a command class, right? So this is available in all subclasses of displayable. Everyone can implement the command. And then we have a screen or canvas. So basically the screen and canvas class, they are actually to this is for a low level UI, and this is for a high level UI. So what happens high level UI is that as it's written there, appearance based on the default phone UI design. I mean, you don't have a control of the high level UI, but here it's like a widget based. Here it is the pixel based. You actually have a control over the UI. So here you are developing your own GUI. You are developing GUI yourself, your own event handling, and it's for big games and bigger commercial applications. Okay. Then I said in a display class we have a forum, and the forum has many items inside. So we can arrange a lot of things on a screen. So like we have item, then we have spacer, choice group, date field, text field, gauge, your image item, string item, custom item. These we need to implement one on one to build actually a robust UI. Is that clear? So when you say a forum, a forum for example, it's a container for items, and the important thing is that we can put up many things on a screen now. We saw before that we have forum, we have list, or we have text box. Only one thing can be put on a display on the screen, but now we can put a lot of things on a screen, and it has automatic scrolling. If it goes down, it has a scroll will be given automatically to it. There are a lot of methods, like you want to append some item to it, you want to insert something before the specified item. We have many items, and you want to insert something before that, so you have to tell it what's the item index, because item index will be important to tell where to insert. And if you want to set, that means you want to replace some item with some other item. You delete an item simply, or you add a listener. So set item state listener means to add a listener, right? Now, as you can see here in a phone, we got a lot of things, like here's a gauge, and there are a lot of things. So they're automatically arranged below each other, and the appearance, as you could read from here, that appearance depends upon the phone, what kind of phone you have. For example, if you got like this phone, which is a little bit elongated in this sense, then it will have a little bit different appearance than this phone, right? If it is a short screen, you have shorter screen, it will go down, and you will be given a scroll bar here that will be automatically added. So like if you want to implement the choice group, that is selection from multiple elements. We have multiple elements like your like your phone book, we said, but that is individual. The choice group will be put on a form. So you have a lot of choices to be selected. So either it could be, it could be like your check boxes, it could be like radio buttons, and that is the type is multiple, type is exclusive, type is pop-up. We have seen already them in the list. So we have a lot of methods here, like you want to append something, you want to get selected index. That means, yeah, that's important, that if you select something, and how we come to know that which choice you have selected. The get selected index will tell us which index of the currently selected item. You want to append something to it, then you have the int append. So that that adds an option to the end. It means if you have 3 options here, you want to add 4th option, you can say append method. And we have a choice group. If you say choice group, it will create me an empty choice group without the options. Or you can have a choice group with another constructor which has a string label that is on the top, like here's your choices. You can put up like books or whatever, a relevant label. And then we have choice type, means is it exclusive, multiple, or pop-up, or something like that. And then you can put up the string elements. The array, we have array of string already defined, maybe the string array that we can put in here, that automatically put in things here, like string of 0 will be put first, string of 1, and string of 2. And then we've got an image also, that's the image elements, if you want to put images on a side also, right? And likewise, this is how we do it. We first create a forum, because forum is going to be the container of the your choice group. Then you create a choice group like item CG. We said item choice group because choice group is an item. So new choice group, and put up your the title on the top and what type it is, choice group exclusive, for example. Then you're going to append later on to them, like we have some rock, paper, and so on. Okay, as you wish. And then you got to add this choice group to the form. So frmain.append, we have the append method, as we had in a command add command, that whatever the form name is, like here we've got a frmain, we could have frm, we use it there fm, we can say fm dot, like we said fm dot add command, here we say fm dot append, what else, the item choice group. Okay, and you gotta register your item as a item state listener, because what is happening on a form main, in the form, what you are selecting, what you are not selecting, it means what state change is going on. You have to tell the that compiler that frmain.set item state listener this. So you have to set item state listener. That means you have to tell the AMS to listen my frmain, because it gonna have some changes. So later on we're gonna fire our item state, like we have the action method in case of commands. And here we will have a item state changed method. So item state changed method will be fired if you have some state changes or something from the for main, or what is on the for main. Maybe what will be on a for main will be the items. If there is some state change, they will be straight on listened. Okay, so this is our, that we have discussed a lot, this item state change method. This will be called when there is some state change on an item on the form, for example, and it will take one, it will have one argument, that is item, because this will be called when some item changes the state. That item is sent to the item, and then we're gonna see that if that item is equal to item CG, like we said in our commands, that if your C command, the command type C was there, and we say if C is equal back, or if C is equal to exit, then we did something. Similarly, what kind of item is being selected? So if item is equal to item CG, and we're gonna see then, because item choice group will have a lot of things on it, which is to be which in that item which choice is selected. For example, we have to get selected index first. So if I'm saying if item c dot get selected index, means which the choice you have selected will have an index. The get selected index will return that. If that is equal to 1, that means it is the first choice. You have selected the first choice. then you got to do something. Similarly, else if item cg.getSelectIndex is equal to, and like that you're going to do things on that, right? Okay. Similarly, we have a string item. You know, for a string item you can't edit it. You wanna put some labels on a form. So you have to first create a string item type. For example, I say item si string item is a new string item, and I put in something on that. This is the text which should be displayed, and then I got to append that for a main to append this thing, item si, or I could say directly for a main dot append with the text. So in that case I don't need, it's a shortcut stuff. You can understand it quite easily. Then there's a text field, you know, on which you can put things. It is like the text box we have already read. Then it can be, you know, it can have any, it can be email writer, it can be password, it can be decimal, and so on. So this you can put on your form to fill up the things, right? Then the gauge is something like this, like your volume control, or you could have a bars like that. Okay, so if it is interactive, that means a user can change, for example, the volume, etc. If it's non-interactive, like we have a progress bar, means it's not in your control, and according to your process is going on, a progress bar is going, you know, like downloading. Okay, this is non-interactive, or connection with the server or something like that. And then we have date field. So you want to change the date object, date plus time of a Java, then you're going to use date field. This is quite self-explanatory, and we will do that in a program, our programs also. So next is an image item. So if you want to display some image, especially a .ping image, okay, and then you're gonna position them. So first you're gonna create with like all items, we're gonna create an object im of image.createImage. We have to say image.createImage, and then we're gonna give some path where it is located. Then we're gonna append this image to our form, right? And we can say here, like because first the image need to be created. This is important. First image need to be create image. Then after that we're gonna create a new object of it, like new image item. We can do it separately, then form.append. We can do separately, then append that to the form main. But here we're done together, form main.append, and in here I'm creating a new image item. Okay, because image item, so that will be created out of this. That will have something like because image item is the actual item. This image im is just a image which has an image in it. It has created an image and put it on im, and image item is the item class derivative. It has a title, it has what image you want to put in. So here this I am putting up, I have created already the image, the path, etc. of it. I created the image that is in im, so I am putting that im basically has the path of that image, what I wanna display. And then I can have a layout and like that. This kind of constructor. We will also see these things later on in implementation to understand it. There are other items like we have spacer. It just gives us spaces, a distance between two items. A custom item, you want to build your own UI items, then you can use a custom item. And you can put the commands on your items also, right? So you have to create a command, then you have the item.add command. Okay, that command got to be added with the particular item. And we have how to handle them. It's not a command listener, but it's an item command listener. It's a difference, because we had a command listener before, we deal with that, but now we have the item command listener, which will deal with the commands which are added to the items. So this is all what we have, and we will later on discuss other things like screen class and all. But first we already discussed the screen class in it, so but we need to put them in a program and do all these things one by one to master them. Okay, and so see ya in the program implementation of the item class.